What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here with Kirabug, episode 61 of Dragon Ball Super, and we're going to try to make sense of everything that's happened in this series while you enjoy Xenoverse 2 gameplay in the background, because why not? Xenoverse 2 Beta Weekend was happening at the time of making this video. I don't have to get into that. I'm posting content on that. Now, episode 61 was the biggest headache, especially if you only watched it raw. Well, I watched the sub version literally just now. It's late at night, Sunday, while I was recording this video, and I think I kind of got it all figured out. So I'm gonna try to make sense of it. So first and foremost, this episode was incredible. We had two amazing moments which we'll talk about briefly. The first one was obviously the Goku rage that we see, because basically Black and Zamasu, or I should say Zamasu and Zamasu, basically explain everything that happened. And in the process of explaining it, they talk about how when they stole Goku's body using the Super Dragon Balls, they killed Goku, who was basically Zamasu. Well, he had Zamasu's body, and then killed Goten and Chi-Chi, and that sent Goku into a blinding, fierce rage that actually lasted as long as Vegeta's rage usually does, because he got destroyed, unfortunately. And then the next interesting moment after that was obviously the mysterious transformation with Trunks. So we see Trunks get really angry because in the end of the episode, it's kind of weird me explaining the end of this because obviously I haven't talked about the beginning of the episode yet, but I'll get to the main part in a second. I just want to cover like the basics before I get into the good stuff, where we can kind of break it down. We see Trunks get really angry because basically Zamasu and Black blame him for everything. Had Trunks never gone to the past to change the future and warned everybody about the androids, then this wouldn't be happening right now, because obviously
he wouldn't have created the time ring.
Wouldn't have created a time ring. They wouldn't have pursued Goku's body. Like, none of this would have happened, but the future would still have been dead because the androids are kind of assholes. So it was kind of like a lose-lose situation for Trunks. Like, what is he supposed to do? Like, what would you do? What would you do?
I would have gone back.
Yeah, I mean, they can figure it out. I mean, it's just another villain. Okay.
I think Zamasu is just being a little baby.
And just being a little baby.
He's just being a little baby.
So here's the breakdown. Here, let me just kind of try to make sense of it. So going back to the beginning of the arc, we had a face-off between Goku and Zamasu, which triggered him into being super pissed off about the humans, humanoids, I should say, because not really, because Goku's not human, but you get the point. I'm gonna just use humans from now on because it's like a better way to explain it. Lower beings, non-mortals.
Yes.
Because Goku fought Zamasu, Zamasu was triggered to become basically a school shooter that created this plan to kill everybody. So what happened is remember a couple episodes ago when it showed Zamasu seeking information about the Super Dragon Balls, and obviously, you know, what's his face, what's his name,
Gawasu?
Not Gawasu, I forgot the dude's name, the nose, Zuno. Zuno was like, well, the Super Dragon Balls were just used, which makes sense because the Universe 6 tournament just happened. So what happens is this is how I explain it. Since he had to wait another like 6 months or so to get the balls to get restored, he instead used the time ring that he probably stole from Gawasu, maybe wasn't paying attention, jumped maybe like a year into the future, got the Super Dragon Balls, wished to basically get Goku's body, and in that timeline, let's say like a year from now, in that timeline, he took that Goku's body, which at that point, that Goku should have been pretty powerful. It's just like post-Universe 6 tournament, so God Key and everything, so he's basically trying to figure out how to use his body, which makes sense why Goku's body is so powerful in Zamasu's possession, because like when he first showed up, like basically, you know, Goku's like basically, or Black is just powerful, but he doesn't know how to use it. So when he lost to Goku's body in the past, he realized, oh wow, this body has a lot of potential. He has God Key and everything, which is why he has Super Saiyan rolls later. So let's say he did steal the body in a year of, you know, ahead of the main timeline. There, he kills Goten and Chi-Chi. Now this is a completely different timeline. It's in the future. It's kind of weird because it's altering that timeline, but it's not going back in the past, creating a new time ring, but it's like it's still in the future. So then what he does is he jumps with the time ring again, jumps another year into the future, gets the Super Dragon Balls again, probably takes that Zamasu from that timeline and switches them to the Zamasu of the main timeline, which is the one that Beerus kills. So now you have basically that Zamasu of the main timeline who has free instruments or whatever, whereas the future, middle future Zamasu was killed by Beerus, which is why Beerus thought nothing was going to happen. I'm pretty sure they're going to confirm that next week. Then, after taking Goku's body, Black, now let's call him Black so there's no confusion, Black now jumps to Trunks' timeline because it's a very iconic timeline, and on top of that he has the power to do that, and that's when he converts that Zamasu into basically joining his team. Now here's the interesting part. When he jumps 17 years in the future, Zamasu was still a Kaioshin in train, which leads me to have two questions. Number one, what made him not go school shootery? Did like Gawasu actually help kind of change who he was becoming? Or like who he could have been? And 2, how long is the Kaioshin training test? Like, holy crap! Like, because
they're gods. They live for so long.
I mean, technically,
forever.
yeah, they technically do live for a very, very long time. But still, like, that's a long ass test of just making tea. Like, I would just lose my patience. So that's what I think happened. So he jumps there, kills Gowasu. He's like, yeah, look, remember that those feelings he had like 20 years ago? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's just team up. And then they proceeded to kill off everybody. And of course, the rule. The reason why they tossed out the rule about if a Kaioshin dies, so is a god of destruction. It's probably because the god of destructions cannot be touched. Like, they're just powerful. They're so powerful. However, if you do the loophole by killing the Kaioshin, then technically that rids the gods of destruction. So they went across universes, just wiping them out left and right, killing the Kaioshin and then killing the gods of destruction, overall. And now their plan is to basically kill off everybody. And now, of course, at some point, the future Zamasu, wish for immortality. And now this is like how the duo was created. And then to top it all off, after all that, they destroyed the Super Dragon Balls, which I assume had to have been done in the main timeline. So now there's no Super Dragon Balls in the main timeline, I think. It was kind of wonky because they didn't really explain too much how everything really works. All they really said in this episode was, oh yeah, I got the Super Dragon Balls, stole your body, killed your family, and then I went to the future and recruited, future Zamasu. But there's a lot of holes with it, which is like why I'm trying to fill it in. And
I wouldn't say that they destroyed the Super Dragon Balls in the main timeline just yet, because there's no evidence.
That's true.
There's absolutely no evidence as to which timeline they destroyed the Super
Correct,
Dragon Balls. Correct,
because technically in the main timeline, the Super Dragon Balls are still gone. They're still inactive. So what they could have done is they could have just destroyed the Super Dragon Balls in the timeline where the last wish was used, which is kind of stupid because technically...
Which would be in the future.
Which is probably why they destroyed the timeline, or the time machine for Trunks. Because that time machine is actually the biggest threat to the Zamasu Black Planet, because they can basically travel through time and then kind of undo what was done. Ooh.
Can they undo it though?
Well, they can't.
Really.
They can't undo it, but they can warn it. But then the problem with that is now you're time traveling backwards again. Now you're creating multiple timelines, creating more time rings, and it's going to basically turn to another situation where it's like when Trunks went back in time and told everybody about the android. So it's very, very confusing. And I guess what I want to ask you guys is if you have the best possible explanation about what's going on in this arc, feel free to drop it down below and just let us know your thoughts on everything. But that's what makes the most sense to me, just the fact that, because it can't be obviously the main timeline Goku because he's still alive.
Yeah.
And he couldn't have gotten the Super Dragon Balls in the main timeline because they were just used. So it only makes sense that, main timeline Zamasu, after getting enraged by Goku, stole a time ring. Because remember, there was a point where we saw Zamasu was gone for an X amount of time when they came back looking for him. What could have happened is he jumped into the future like a year or so, grabbed the Super Dragon Balls, made the wish, and in that timeline took that Goku, killed off Goten and Chi-Chi, took the time ring, same time ring, jumped another year into the future, and maybe grabbed that Zamasu, swapped it with the one in the past, which is why had the main Zamasu been killed, then I guess Beerus' theory would work the way he thought it was going to work, which is why it did. And I'm pretty positive they're going to explain that next week when episode 62 airs. So yeah, that's kind of like the best way I can explain what happened in it. Do you have any thoughts on that, or anything you want to toss in there?
I think that what you explained is too... I don't know. I think something is wrong with it.
There's got to be something wrong with it. I mean, I know...
There's got to be something wrong with
Toriyama
it.
always...
It's too elaborate.
Yeah, Toriyama has always something that he's has up his sleeves. Like, for example, the whole Super Saiyan Blue... Super Saiyan Yellow. Yeah. Trunks went Super Saiyan Yellow. So, to explain that, because I know people are like, how the hell did that happen? The only possible theory that I have is that... which can be kind of linked up to the theory about how Vegeta became God himself, is, remember there was a time where we had Vegeta and Trunks training together and they fought, and Vegeta showed the Super Saiyan Blue and knocked them out. The only theory that I have is that somehow he left some God key inside him, so when Trunks channeled his rage just now, he was able to bust it out. Which reminds me of Kabe. Remember when he fought Kabe and he punched him in the gut, remember this pain? I feel like in a way Vegeta passed on some God key to Kabe, which kind of would set up the future for Kabe to come back as a Super Saiyan Blue as well. Although it wasn't quite Super Saiyan Blue, because obviously he was still Super Saiyan Yellow, but he had the God key. It was inverse. Instead of having the blue on the outside, he had the yellow on the outside, but the blue inside the aura, which is, I don't know. Next week though is going to be crazy because we got the fight. Apparently Trunks is going to hold Black Zamasu back while we have Goku and Vegeta go back in the past to do you know what, which I'm not going to talk about because that's a major spoiler. To those who know what I'm talking about, that move, which I think is going to fail. And based on the episode leaks a couple of days ago, episode 63 or 64, I think, might be 64, is going to be the crazy one. So if my theory is correct, this arc is about to become even better. Like right now, it's funny. Like I'm enjoying Super, but the Black arc, the Future Trunks arc, can actually rival in Dragon Ball Z in the past series just because it's so awesome. Like the villainous side of Zamasu and Black together is incredible. Like they're savage. Goku and Chi-Chi, they just murder them for no reason.
They're murdering everyone.
Yeah, and on top of that, they have the perfect weapon. Like they have, if my theory is right, and they do have like a up-to-date Goku who has, you know, God King, which again it makes sense. The question is like, how the hell did Black get Super Saiyan Rose or God Ki in such a short amount of time? It's because he didn't know. Remember when Goku got his body stone by Captain Ginyu and Ginyu didn't know how to use it at all? That's what it is. Like literally, like he fighting Goku in the past when he went back to the past when he was going back to Trunks, he realized, oh snap, so I have all these powers. Let me go back and kind of master that, and that's probably how you learn how to get, you know, God Ki and all that stuff and get so powerful. So that's the situation we're at. And if this is technically a future Goku, this would also explain, well, like a year future Goku, not like future Goku, but like literally a year ahead in the timeline of the main timeline. It would explain why Goku is so powerful, because theoretically he should be a year's worth of training stronger than current Goku. So that's kind of like the situation.
Yeah, but also a god in Goku's body would make him
and on top of that, Goku's not a killer. He kind of fights to fight. Zamasu, or Black Zamasu, fights to kill. So he's at a disadvantage all around. So this is awesome. Like, I'm just hyped, and the fighting's great. The series is great. Toei and Toriyama, you guys are just killing it right now. Keep it up.
I'm tired.
She's tired. It's late at night. I've been playing Xenoverse all weekend, trying to record, prepare for this trip I'm going on, and I just got a chance to watch this subbed. So it's late. I'm gonna work on editing this together, upload it. But in the comment section below, I want to know your thoughts on everything that happened, anything I might have missed. Let's talk about the Trunks form. In fact, I want you guys to name it. I know everyone's gonna say false Super Saiyan Blue, but let's get something better than that, because false Super Saiyan Blue is a little predictable. Give me your best name for the new Trunks form down below. And two, feel free to discuss the timeline connection that I was just discussing just now down below. And you got something? What you got?
Super Saiyan Green, because blue and yellow makes green.
Theoretically, it's funny because I remember a lot of people were saying Super Saiyan Green was going to be next. And I thought about that when I watched it live. I was like, it's funny because green and blue together is going. I mean, blue and yellow together
You thought of that?
Yeah, of course. And it's happening right now, which is kind of funny, but technically it's not. But if you want to say Super Saiyan Green, feel free to do whatever you want. This is your own opinion and thoughts.
I'm gonna call it Super Saiyan Green for now, because blue and yellow mixed together makes green.
She's technically not wrong. In before Super Saiyan Rainbow is next. So in the comment section below, let's just discuss everything that happened, and I guess wait a couple more days, because episode 62 is only 5 days away at the time this video is being up. So I'll see you guys in exactly 1 week from today to discuss possibly more clues, information about the arc. But for now, let's just talk about what happened in episode 61. And also, please, if you know what happens in episode 62, 63, 64, and on, don't spoil it in the comment section below, because there's going to be people who haven't read that yet, / who don't want it spoiled. So keep that kind of clean. Let's be nice here. So yeah. Anyways, if you're hyped about Super and enjoying it so far, where it's going, you know what to do. Leave a like right below. Any questions, comments, feedback, just drop it down below. But other than that, I hope you guys keep enjoying your days, and we'll see you guys in the comment section below.
Bye. Peace.